A popular cafe in Belize City is doing some damage control tonight after a situation didn't sit well with the public. Spoonaz Reggae Café has issued a public apology after they called the police on a retired nurse who couldn't pay her bill. It all happened on Saturday when 57-year-old Allaire McDougal stopped by the cafe, ordered some food and drinks, and ended up with a tab of $48. But when it came time to pay, her card was declined, and that's when things took a turn.
What I was charged with was intentionally trying to defraud a business. And that sounds huge, right? It sounds like I was laundering money from some business. But it happens that I couldn't pay my $24 bill.
Like $48?
48 Belize dollars. Exactly 48 Belize dollars. I had, it was really good actually. Oxtail and rice and beans, right? Fried plantain. It was delicious. I was referred there from a friend. But when blueberry, you know, it was blueberry cheese scone. So that's, you know, like a cheesecake scone. It was really good. I was surprised.
Moccasin, is that your preferred drink?
The chocolate moccasin. I'm hooked.
Are you?
I'm hooked, yes. As soon as this interview is done, I'm not going to lie to you, Paul. That's what I'm going to go have.
Staff at Spoonaz Reggae Café says they tried to work things out before calling the cops. According to them, Allaire McDougal's debit card was declined not once, not twice, 3 times because of insufficient funds. They say they spent about half an hour trying to sort it out with her, but when no solution came up, they decided to file a police report. McDougal, for her part, says this wasn't the first time that day she ran into trouble. She told us she had a similar issue earlier at another restaurant in Belize City.
In Belize, sometimes the systems are down, and there's a lot of, it's not as fluid as the States. So I'm kind of patient. Yeah, I'm as patient as I can because I've lived in both places. I understand that not everything is perfect in Belize. We're doing our best, right? So she says, yeah, your card is declined. So I tell her, well, I'm going to have to do dishes. What's going on? She says, well, just come back and, you know, take care of it. I go to Spooners. That's when they tell me, ma'am, your card is declined for insufficient funds. When I leave there, there's a man that looks like a homeless man down the street, and he grabs me and he says, you have to pay your bill. And then he has the tourism police waiting right there for me as I'm walking with one of their patrons to go to Belize Bank to check my balance, to get the cash. So she tells me, well, you have to go with one of our people to get the cash. I said, sure, let's go take him and I can go to Belize Bank.
When you went to sit down at Spoonaz,
Yes.
Was it with the intent to pay and the understanding that you had money on your account?
Of course.
After her card was declined at Spoonaz Reggae Café, McDougal was detained by police, held overnight at the Queen Street Police Station, and later charged with obtaining services by deception. Unable to meet a $500 bail, she was remanded to the Belize Central Prison. But what happened next was a wave of public outrage. Social media lit up with criticism of the cafe's handling of the situation, prompting Spoonaz to issue a public apology. In their statement, they expressed regret and clarified that their intention was never to criminalize hardship. With mounting pressure, the cafe dropped the charge and McDougal was set free.
I understand from the gentleman that she is apologetic and wants us to come to the restaurant, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. As good as the cold food soup was, as good as the oxtail and rice and beans was, you know, it'll have to be under the conditions that we all sit down and talk about what is this, what's going on here.
But according to McDougal, this isn't about financial hardship. She says she gets money from the US every month, but claims that whenever she goes out to eat, the funds mysteriously vanish from her account. How do you explain this occurrence taking place repeatedly at repeated establishments?
Yeah.
How would you define that?
I can't, and that's the only reason I'm doing this interview. At the beginning, when you first walked up, I'm like, no, I'm not doing an interview. No way. But I think that if I bring awareness to it, maybe more people will talk about it. I just want to thank everyone for their support. I think in times like these, when there's a lot of confusion going on, to support one another is really, it says a lot to the human nature, and I appreciate that.
What do you say to people that maintains the view that you have visited these establishments with the intent to receive meals, services by deception?
Let's just wait until all the investigation is done.
McDougal, the retired nurse at the center of the Spoonaz Café controversy, has a history that's both tragic and complex. According to a CBS News report, she once served time in a U.S. prison after attempting to drown her 8-year-old son in a swimming pool. Bystanders intervened and saved the child, and witnesses say they heard her shouting, "It's the end of the world, I have to let you go." A relative has since come forward revealing that McDougal has been diagnosed with a mental illness and is not well. That same relative and many others have offered to pay her outstanding bill at Spoonaz Café, hoping to bring some peace to a situation that has clearly touched a nerve across the country. It's a reminder that behind every headline, there's a human story and sometimes a cry for help. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.